2 words, man. Nipple chills. That's all I gotta say. It's just this
Pointy nips.
poignant. 100%. It's just so good.
Well, no, I said pointy nips.
Pointy
But
nips. Like you said, poignant.
poignant also works. Welcome to After Listen, the music discovery and discussion podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Lee.
And I'm Terry O.
And today we're going to keep things a little bit more casual than we kind of have been. Terry O and I have picked songs that we've been kind of just vibing to lately. Anything from fairly new releases to songs from a little bit further back. Basically, all of these songs fall under the heavy recommendation category. So, highly recommend you check these out before, during, or after this episode. As always, you can check the show notes for the song links. But before we get started, as usual, we have some quick disclaimers. We do love listening to music, but to avoid any issues, gotta get these out of the way. First and foremost, we respect everyone's opinion, regardless of how wrong or awful it may be. Number 2, this episode might feature explicit language. Some of the songs have explicit language, so we might be discussing that or may just come up. So you have been warned. And lastly, we're just talking about the music. Not the artist's real life issues or the band's real life issues or anything that's happening outside of that. We're not weighing in on anything like that, just the music. So, with that out of the way, let's get into it.
All right. So, we're going to start off with one of your picks, Brandon. Let's see. Which one we're going to go with? Let's talk about Caravan Palace. You recommended Lone Digger as well as, I recommended Wonderland along with that one. But tell us why you recommended that one, and I'll tell you what I thought about it.
Okay, so this is a song because I was talking to you about this like off the air, I guess, outside of recording. But YouTube recently has had like an archived playlist where it's kind of taking songs that I used to listen to all the time and maybe haven't listened to in a while, and just making a playlist out of that. And so I've been kind of vibing like in between episodes whenever I've not had a whole playlist to listen to. I've been vibing to that, just reliving my past years and whatnot. And this song popped up, and whenever this, like the time period this song came out, I think like 2015, it was like 2014 to maybe like 2016, 2017. It was only a few years, I feel like. So, listeners, if you want to correct me on this, feel free to reach out to us and tell me how I'm wrong. But there's a few years where this genre, electro swing, I believe it was called, came out. And Caravan Palace was my kind of introduction to that. I had a good buddy who like fell in love with the genre. It was like, he would like be blasting his Spotify throughout our apartment, all hours of the day or whatnot. But yeah, man, this song in particular, the song I picked, Lone Digger, I believe, I'm not like a band, I was never in a band or anything, so I might get this wrong. I believe it's the trumpet. It's like the main that
I think
bit.
so too. Yeah.
That riff, I guess, that's just like throughout the entire song. Just something about it, man, like gets me like amped a little bit in a weird way. Like it's a upbeat kind of hype song, but I don't know, it's just got a certain energy to it. Just every time it comes on, I'm like, especially if I'm like in my car driving, it just puts me in a good mood. I'm like vibing along, bopping, like literally my body, like if you're watching the camera, like bopping up and down right now, just thinking about it. It's a great song. Definitely, like I was talking about the genre of electro swing or whatever. For those who don't know, it's basically like kind of bringing back like big like brass instrument kind of, think like 20s swing, but in a modern with like electro production and stuff added to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you think like Great Gatsby meets like dubstep a little bit, like that kind of sound.
Yes. Very good way to put it. And so, yeah, just like I said, this was the introduction to that, and definitely for that, couple of years where I was like big into that genre. There were several other groups that I ended up listening to several other songs that I remember favorited, but this was definitely the gateway, and it's always, 8 years on now. Still, like I said, it's still one of the songs whenever it came on recently, I was like, oh man. And then whenever we were talking about this episode, this was one of the like first songs that popped up in my head. I was like, we got to talk about this one because the genre itself was very unique, didn't last very long, and yeah, it's just a great song. And then you picked Wonderland, which was from the same album.
Mm-hmm.
Also a great song. The whole album. Let me look up what that album is called, actually, real quick, just so I don't get it wrong, unless you have it.
It's
I think
called Robot Face.
Robot Face. Okay. Makes sense with the album cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole album is pretty great. Would highly recommend listening to the whole album. But those two songs in particular are definitely, in my opinion, the favorites off the album.
I stumbled across the same genre, um, roughly around the same time you did, actually, and it just really kind of blew my mind because as a hip hop fan, I love when people sample different genres and kind of blend it into stuff. So I love. I guess I like to, what's the word I want to call it? I like music gumbo, where basically you kind of take a little bit of
Mm,
this, a little bit of that, and just throw it into
yes.
like a track and be like, how you put this with that? Like those two things should be diametrically opposed to one another, but yet it works perfectly.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling that vibe, man. Lone Digger was the first one that kind of got me into it, and then when I stumbled into Wonderland, that's when I like, okay, this is
Well, I
it.
think Lone Digger was the big like single that like kind of made them popular at the time.
Absolutely.
I do think
That
Wonderland was also. I think it was like right behind. Like I don't remember for sure if that was also one of the singles off the album, or maybe that's just me re-envisioning the past because it's our favorite song from the album. But
mhm.
yeah, you want to talk about the music videos for these songs at all, real quick?
Yo, all I have to say for Lone Digger, if you are an animal lover, you will absolutely love this video. It
I
is so
believe you mean to
wholesome.
say so. The first half of this music video for
It's
Lone
so
Digger,
wholesome. It's so wholesome.
it's
It's-
well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. It's a furry's like dream come true for a music video.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got totally anthropomorphized. I butchered that word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
Human-like animals that are, it's like in a bar setting, and it's following these like three cats that are knocking back shots of milk, and there's an antelope gazelle type stripper dancing in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And then halfway through the video, the Doberman dogs and the three cats that we're kind of following start fighting, and then it just turns into a huge brawl that just is super gory and like exceptionally violent, and you're just sitting there like,
Yeah.
what is happening?
I literally said to myself the first time I watched it, I was like, what the hell is this? And yes, I need to watch it again. 'Cause-
And I actually remember just kind of getting into your and me, our personal connections a little bit. This was, I think you and me had kind of connected. I don't remember if like you shared Caravan Palace with me or I shared them with you, or we both just found them separately, and then we're like, oh, you know this group too.
yeah, that's what it was. We found it separately, and then I
That's just
mentioned
kind
it
of what
to
I was
you.
thinking. But
And
I
yeah.
remember you were the one who sent me. You were like, "Yo, have you seen the video for Lone Digger?" And I was like, "No, there's a video." And he's like, "Bruh." And like I
yes.
remember just like having a few moments after I finished watching it for the first time. I'm just like, "What? What did
Yeah.
I just watch?"
Yeah. Like
Um,
literally think of furries meets Kill Bill, essentially.
yes, that
In a
is
bar
yes.
setting.
In a bar, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Insane.
Pretty good though. Pretty good. Great animation, high
Hmm.
quality, just out there in content a little
Yeah,
bit. But
absolutely. Now, in contrast, Wonderland is a little interesting. I like the thing about the Wonderland video that I enjoy the most about it is how the animation literally follows the music.
yes,
So it's like the chick is kind of just vibing in her own little world, and she's like surrounded by her background dancers and everything, but the buildings are like vibrating to the track. So like every time the 808
yeah, where it
hits,
shows like
or
her in the room and like the walls are vibrating to the beat and stuff. Yes, dude,
yes,
I was vibing to all that. Absolutely.
yes. That was my jam, and I was like, okay. And then like it's like little subtle things, like there's a part in the song where like the music cuts out, and she goes ooh, and like I just like how she does that right at the
Yeah,
camera.
little things like that. It's a
Yeah,
really. I've not seen. I should have maybe tried to look into it, but I wonder if they have like other music videos that are animated and like kind of interesting like that, or if that's like just if they've done it just a little bit for like these two songs, maybe a couple others, or if that's kind of like their style, so to speak.
I think that was just the style for the Robot Face album. They had another song that came out fairly recently ish, featuring another singer out there. I think it's like Charles X or something like that.
Mm.
But that one was like live action, so
Okay.
yeah. But beyond that, I really haven't been keeping up with them. So we had a lot of music to listen to on this list, but like in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I need to go back and like catch up on Caravan Palace and see what they've been working on.
No, right. I was thinking the same thing. I'm waiting to get this episode out of the way to do that for honestly not just them. There's
It's a
a
lot of
few
folks.
artists on this few artists slash groups on this list that I'm like, I gotta go back and check up on them, see what they're up to.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna, I guess, introduce one of your picks now.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna pick my favorite one
Okay.
of yours out of the singles that you picked. At least this is the one that's been stuck in my head all week.
Okay. Which one?
RATATA.
I knew it. I had a feeling. I had
The
a feeling it
beat
was
go
gonna be that one.
RATATA. This song is a bop and a
Yeah,
half.
that one was dope.
And
Like,
can I just say, in general, dude, you like your singles that you picked had like this one has Skrillex, um, mild spoilers. You got like Zeds Dead and Bassnectar and some of the other songs we'll be talking about shortly. And so like
mhm,
just I've not listened to like any of these like dubstep artists in probably close to a decade now. So
mhm.
like Bass Nectar, who's on this song, or not on this song, he's on another song, sorry, is definitely one of those artists. I'm like, man, what is he
Right.
up to? Because like I used to have his entire discography on my
Mhm,
phone.
mhm.
um, but back to this song, Ratatata. It's got Skrillex, Missy Elliott, and
I think it's like Mr. Opio or something.
let me just Mr. Oizo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But yeah, man, it's when it. So I didn't look it up. Do you know when this song came out?
That was this year.
Really?
That's recent.
So
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering. I was like, how recent is this song? Because like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so Skrillex is still making music. That's good to
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Of course, it's always great to see Missy Elliott and stuff.
Well, so here's the thing. So when I first heard this song, or okay, so I heard Skrillex was dropping a new album. So I was like, okay, let me check out Skrillex. It's been a minute since I checked them out, and it was a headline that I saw that Skrillex was had a new song out featuring his own voice, and so I listened to that song. I did not put that on here because I'm not it's all right. It's like a slow song where he's kind of singing with this chick or whatever,
Hmm.
and it's kind of a dark song. I was like, okay, I'm not really feeling it. But the album came out shortly after that. I was like, okay, whatever, let's put this on. And then I was like, huh, Rata-ta-ta-ta, Missy Elliott. I was like, Rata. Oh no, they didn't like flip. So I'm thinking it's just a sample. So I'm thinking they just sample her voice, Rata-ta-ta-ta-ta, just the song, the sample from Work It. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I put that on. I was curious to see how he's gonna flip the sample. I was not expecting Missy to drop bars on it. Missy
Yeah,
came
dude.
with two verses and she killed it. I'm sorry, I'm stepping
Oh
all
no,
over
she
you,
killed it. No, no, no. You're
but
100% in the right here. I agree with you wholeheartedly. She murdered the track.
she murdered the track, and then like when she said, "I'm moving these fools out the way like pool sticks," I was like, "I'm done." She killed me with that. I was cracking up, like I just like picture Missy with a pool stick, like boop, 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 like knocking everybody out the way. So like, yeah, I was not expecting bars, and like they straight killed it. I enjoyed the
Yeah,
song a
sure
lot.
killed it. Skrillex on the
Yes,
like production side of things, just
yes,
the music itself, the production is outstanding. Skrillex and Missy Elliott is not at all a combo I would ever think would work,
never.
but like I said at the beginning, it works really well, and the whole, I guess it's, I don't know, the hook or whatever, was like the beat goes ra ta ta ta, or the chorus, whatever it is, like that part, man, has just been like, and other bits of the song, like pretty much the whole song was like in my head, but I'll just be like walking around at work and it'll pop in my head and the beat goes ra ta ta ta. I'm like, damn it, get out of my head. But no, man, it was great. So yeah, it's cool that Skrillex is making new music. I'm gonna have to go check that out, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The album was pretty solid. Of course, I got stuck on Ratatata, so that was a good one. All right,
And especially
let's.
wonder if Missy Elliott is gonna like. When's the last time she came out with like her own album? It's been a
She
few
came.
years, right?
It's been about a couple years. She dropped a EP called what was it called? I know it's purple. It had the purple album cover. I forget what it's called, but I know it had like six. It had 6 songs, and she shot a video for every song on it, and it was pretty
Well, I
dope.
know you sent me. I think it was you that sent me. I'm like 90% sure you sent me this, but she had like an Instagram post or
Uh
whatever
huh.
celebrating. I think it was like the 25th anniversary of. Um, was it Timbaland and Magoo's out? One of their
Oh
albums that she
yeah,
was
yeah,
on.
yeah. It was the Timbaland and Magoo album,
Okay,
Just a
yeah, yeah,
Boogie.
yeah. And I'm not. I feel like this might come out sounding a little bit bad, but for her age, she is looking phenomenal, I think.
Oh, one Iconology. That was the album called. Sorry. But yeah, yeah, 100%. Like I said many times before, and let the record show, black don't crack. It do chip a little bit. but it don't crack.
Well,
Um,
Missy's living proof of that for sure.
no doubt, no doubt. All right, so your next pick, and just like how you jumped into one of your favorites, I'm gonna jump into one of my favorites from the ones you picked, and it's probably not gonna be the one you think. Uh, Death Note,
I actually was thinking you were gonna pick that one.
bruh. The amount of times I've accidentally sung and or freestyle, sometimes simultaneously, to that track. That man killed that guitar.
So Ichika Naito,
Hmm.
uh, anyone that has the correct pronunciation of that, please let me know if I'm mispronouncing that.
Yeah.
He features on the track. He does like the solo and I think some of the rhythm stuff. He is amazing. He has, like I was telling you the other night, he has a ton of videos on his YouTube channel. He has a lot of music videos that he's made. He has a lot of just like 30-second to a minute long clips of him just like shredding the guitar. I tried to find, we were talking the other night. I was trying to find this video because I have this memory, and it might be from another song he played, where he basically sets the guitar in his lap like koto style, which if you're not familiar, it's a kind of older stringed Japanese instrument where they it's kind of guitar like, it's a stringed instrument, but they sit it in their lap and play it almost like piano, right? And so he
Hmm.
was doing that like on the neck of the guitar and stuff. And it was just like really, the first time I ever saw it, I was like really like kind of interested and like blown away. I was like, oh man, you can like play a guitar like that and like do the shredding that he's doing, right? Um, Ended up sending it to my dad because he's been playing guitar for like 30 plus years, and he was like not as impressed as I was. I remember
Hater.
he was like, "Yeah, I've seen that before. That's pretty cool." I'm just like, "Man, whatever." But yeah, him, and then I want to say it's Tim Henson, but it might be Tom Henson, um, the like lead guitarist for Polyphia.
Hmm.
Um, he's also, if you ever go back and listen to the other songs that are like just them without any featured artists or whatever,
Hmm.
he is next. Like I don't know how much you know of like guitar playing and stuff, but like man, the stuff he does whenever he's playing guitar, and Ichika too, are just like it's almost like they're like aliens, dude, on the guitar. Like the stuff they do and like the patterns they're able to do with the tapping and the sweeps and the shifts from one
Hmm.
technique to another is just like it blows me away. And then I watched an interview with Tim Henson
Hmm.
just the other night whenever I was trying to find that video. I just came across this one, and he's actually like very knowledgeable. I should have maybe sent it to you. I might send it to you afterwards, but he's actually like pretty knowledgeable about like the production side of things, and like he talked about like some of the techniques he does as far as like doubling tracks and like breaking them out to like add like ambient sound to the track, and just like all these different little like cool little tricks he uses in production and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, man, Polyphia is super talented. Pretty much just like hard rock metal instrumentalists. You got two guitarists and a bassist and a drummer just like shredding on all of their instruments together.
Yeah.
Production's great.
No vocals necessary. Like it's just
No
straight,
vocals necessary.
just instrumentation. And then when I first heard it, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then I heard that. I was just like, was that? Did he just do that progression? And then the drums and the bass and all that stuff started hitting. I was like, whoa, man. Like, yeah, I had to, I'm one of those many people that aspire to be a rapper at some point in my career. And I was tempted to dust off my microphone just to like play around with this song because it was so good. Just the instrumentation. Like, I can 100% imagine like a Tech Nine, a Twista, a Busta Rhymes, like just jumping all over that track and just like following those guitar notes the way he's going so fast with it. Like lyrically just going with it, or throw Bone Thugs and Harmony on top of that too. Or better
Mm-hmm.
yet, what's the name? Twisted Insane. Yo, like I can just imagine like a speed rapper just killing it, just following that guitar riff because like that's just it's so phenomenal. I really enjoyed that song. Like that's probably one of my most listened to songs on this playlist that we put together.
And I
So,
do want to say that the album that the song is from, New Levels, New Devils,
hmm.
I almost picked this as like one of my album choices for this, just because I don't think, like, I think this one and Goat are my two favorites from that album, but I don't think there's a bad song on the album.
Okay.
Um, they all bring the same, in my opinion, the same quality as this one. They're all like immensely re-listenable and just like, man, again, the production, like how they weave the instrument sounds, and like if you have attempted or you know anything about playing guitar and like especially drums, because the drummer's also super insane.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just the skill these guys show, like every single song, if you can recognize it, is something else, something to definitely admire and like respect.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would definitely. This is on my next up on my offline listening, to definitely check them out more. So
Sweet. That's what this episode's all about, man. Getting kind of outside of our normal box recommendations, right? Like stuff that you maybe wouldn't think to listen to or whatever.
yeah, absolutely.
Just broaden our horizon, so to speak. Um, okay, I'm gonna go with for Terrio's his next selections that we're gonna talk about. Let's go with the Feeling Good and Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Let's go with
Okay,
those two that you want to kind of talk together.
okay, okay.
Talk about why you picked those. Let's open with that, I guess.
Okay, so as again, I'm a big fan of dubstep and EDM music, and this I heard I stumbled across these. I think I had on shuffle, random mode, or whatever, and then I just happened to see Nina Simone, and I was like, "What the heck is Nina Simone doing in this EDM playlist or whatever?" But whatever, put it on. And I'm just like, okay. So basically, what Verve Records is like an old record label, legacy artist or whatever. They put out a remix album where they pick like a lot of the first ladies from like the blues and all that early era of music, and had some EDM producers remix some of their classic songs. So they reimagine what Nina Simone would be like on an EDM track, and I couldn't pick between the two because they're both so good and they go great in tandem. So the classic Nina Simone, "Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood," that was on a Zed beat, and
Yep, Zed dead or
Zed,
Zed's dead.
yeah, Zed's dead, and then "Feeling
I'm
Good,"
feeling
feeling
good.
good.
Da 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 da
Da,
da.
da,
That was
da.
another one of the songs. Just because, like, okay, the OG, like original "Feeling Good" is like that's a classic, right? Like,
Yeah.
how can you? It's literally the name of the song. It's impossible, I feel like, to listen to a song and not be feeling good. Like, it's just such a good song.
Mhm.
So this was a great. I mean, both of these songs were phenomenal remixes, but that one I think just a little bit better than the other one. For me, I was like, listen, I was vibing that one a little bit more. Or it was, I guess, it was like stuck in my head a little bit more. I should say maybe, but
Yeah, yeah. So I 100% agree that Bass Nectar's remix of "Feeling Good" by Nina Simone definitely goes harder, but I like the vocal arrangement that they did with "Don't Be Misunderstood," Zed's Dead's remix of that song.
yeah, little because I feel like the "Feeling Good," the vocals weren't. I could be wrong. The vocals weren't touched very much. It was all the like music around it that was kind of adjusted. The vocals were kept the same, which
Exactly.
in the song, like we said, it works. It goes pretty hard, but
Hmm.
yeah, I do agree with that. That the having like him playing around Zed Dead or Zed's Dead. I don't know if it's a him or a group or what, but them playing around
Hmm.
with the vocals a little bit. Yeah, it makes it for a more unique. Like, oh, okay, they're
Hmm.
really like mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeps you
So
on your toes, which we both like.
exactly, and I'm a big fan of when you mix old sounds with new sounds. So to think that if Nina Simone was alive today, if she were to do a song with today's sound, that's kind of what it would sound like. So it's
Right.
interesting. Again, it may not be for everybody, but I represent the classics, and I respect the classics. Is rather what I was trying to say.
And I
But
would say that the you definitely get the feeling that like Zed's Dead and Bassnectar also like they respect the songs that they're like they don't just like trample all over them. They definitely like keep the heart of the song. I feel like
yeah.
right, and then just like expand on that, which is great because sometimes you do get where people like remix a song and it's like this is like you just using like the song title for like clicks basically is what it feels like. This is
Mhm.
not that at all. I don't think.
Yeah, 100%. Like even though it's an EDM track, you could tell that the production complements the original version of the song,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a whole vibe within itself. But I would highly recommend y'all check it out and just vibe to it, and just imagine like just a whole world where if this was the normal back then, or if she was here now. Like, could you just like imagine that sound? So I thought it was pretty dope.
How many more songs are from this album? That's one thing I didn't
Oh,
look at.
oh, it's
Are there a bunch?
yeah,
Because
it's
this is one
like
of the ones I was like, I'm gonna go and see, like, check out the other songs from this group.
yeah, yeah. So it's like 13 songs. It's like a compilation album, and they feature legendary artists like Ella Fitzgerald, Billie
Mm,
Holiday, of course Nina Simone, Sister Rosetta. It's just again legendary vocalists from way back in the day who were once signed to Verb Records way back in the day, remixed by today's EDM producers and whatnot. So I mean. again, it's something that nobody, just like we didn't expect Missy and Skrillex,
Right.
nobody would think of Nina Simone and Bassnectar, but it worked. So yeah, I would definitely recommend y'all check that out. And if you just want to have like a different kind of vibe, a little bit old with the new, why not?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to kind of go into this one. So you picked Linkin Park's "Lost." Now this song right here, yo,
This song, it hits you in the feels, man.
it hits me in the feels like it's a gut
It does.
punch
Like,
right to like,
literally, I listened to this song maybe 20 times over the last week, 2 weeks. Every
yeah,
single time, dude. It
yeah,
like I just have at least a moment where I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. This literally all I can say is damn. And
And it's
for
like Rip Chester, like.
yeah, RIP for sure. And like for those who have a quick, crash course, early 2000s Linkin Park, one of the pioneers of the new metal genre, which is kind of like a combination of hip hop and rap. Excuse me, hip hop and rock merged together and kind of did their own thing. And they kind of started from the underground and eventually became mainstream and blase blase. The music definitely hit a chord with a lot of especially with the black kids who were kind of into rock but wasn't really like I don't. This
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of our gateway into it because it had the hip hop flavor, but also had the rock
Yep.
element to it. Um,
It was definitely my gateway as well, somewhat into rap. I know we talked about it like on with the whatever episode it was that we talked about, like where they collabed with Jay Z.
mhm.
Um, that was one of the like first forays into listening to rap for me. Whenever that came out in like '05 or '06, whenever that came out.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like it was definitely for me because I remember back in the day I fell asleep with MTV on, and that was back when MTV played music videos. And I
Right.
woke up with "In the End," and I was confused. I was like, "Is this a rap song or a rock song?" Like I couldn't tell if I was like dreaming it or merging something in my head. And then I watched the video, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is dope." But unfortunately, Chester Bennington, the lead vocalist from Linkin Park, committed suicide a while back.
I think in
So
2018 or 2019,
yeah,
just a few years back.
yeah. So when you hear his vocals, it's just like all the Linkin Park songs were dope and definitely still are, but it definitely hits different now, especially when you listen to the lyrics and you can actually hear him struggling
The
within the
lyrics in this
lyrics.
song in particular, I feel like, man, this song has to mean so much to the surviving band members of Linkin Park.
Yeah,
And I understand, like I couldn't imagine like the debates they probably went in and like discussing whether they should release this and what they should do with it.
yeah,
Because I mean, he's literally talking about like he's feeling lost and like which is the name of the song, and
hmm,
like he doesn't think he'll ever be all right,
yeah,
and he's messed up in the mind and all this stuff, and it's like with the hindsight of the tragedy that happened with him taking his own life, like you said, it just adds that like real weight to the song whenever you're listening to it, and for me it's impossible to like untie all of that from the music.
yeah,
It's impossible for me to do that.
yeah.
So like we said at the beginning, literally every time I hear this song, it's straight up like a emotional gut punch.
Yeah, 100%. And this is it's a new old song. So this is a unreleased song from their album Meteoria that came out around like 2003 or 2004 around that time. So this is like an unreleased track from that time period. And even with the production from Mike Shinoda, it definitely feels like it doesn't feel dated, but it definitely still feels part of that era of that sound, which is their signature sound around that time. Yeah, when you hear this song, you just automatically go back to that time period, and I'm just like,
And
why?
just a quick addition to this, they also just I think in the last like month released another song that was also an unreleased song off of Meteora, "Fighting Myself,"
Okay,
and it's thematically very similar. Also a great song.
okay,
I didn't include it on the playlist just because Lost had been out for a little bit longer and I'd been listening to it a little bit more. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, again, you can tell I think just by the title of the song, right? "Fighting Myself." It's again him talking about him.
it,
Chester on the song is like singing about battling his demons and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I do just want, because of the subject matter of these songs, I would just like to take a second to say, anyone out there that's listening, if you are feeling depressed or like you might be having suicidal thoughts, please reach out to someone, call the suicide hotline, get some therapy, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're straight and healthy mind wise.
Yeah, and they actually updated that recently. So if you do need to contact the suicide prevention hotline, it's very easy. You don't have to remember a long number. So just dial 988. That's it.
988
Yep, just dial 9888. No more.
1-800 blah 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 blah, like Logic's song from 6 years ago.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here looking, trying to decide which of these next two I want to pick. Let's go with "Let It Slide" by Mark Hawkins
And Jamie Lidell.
and Jamie Lidell. This one was very chill. I feel like,
Really?
yeah, this is pretty chill. You don't think
Uh,
this is pretty chill?
Compared to the other one, no.
I mean, okay, compared to the last one, that one's like super chill though. But I'll
Yeah.
talk about that one in a second. But this was like, I don't just. This was like, for me, whenever I'm listening to this song, it's like, I don't know. In my head, I'm picturing just like driving in like a convertible, like kind
Hmm.
of like dusk down like a, I don't know, like a long just empty stretch of road, right? And you just got the song. It's just the vibe.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But to me, this song it kind of gives me like an homage to like the New Jack Swing era of R&B.
Mm, I
So
can see
where
that.
which kind of had like a heavy hip hop influence over like some smooth vocals. So it was just it to me it was just kind of dope because I was just like, okay, we're kind of taking it back to like the Aaron Hall and Guy and early Blackstreet kind of days. So and for it to be a recent song, I was like, okay, this is pretty dope. So the vocals are very hard, very R&B vocals, but the beat is so staccato and kind of choppy and all over the place. The fact being that I believe that's Jamie Lidell that's singing was able to kind of just ride that beat. I'm just like, this is, I just love it. I love it. It's such a good song. It's a
Yeah,
good
man.
vibe.
It's a good vibe. It's a groove.
Hmm.
I feel like a groove is the right way to put it. It's
Yeah,
like you just,
groove. There we go.
for me, like mentally, whenever the song comes on, it's like I mentally like really fall into this groove, right? That's what I
Hmm.
feel like, and I'm just like, okay, I'm here now, so to speak.
Exactly. And also, I have to blame you for this because like I enjoyed the beat first, and the beat was like again. I'm just like, okay, okay. I see how you chop that up, and then because I'm friends with you and you're a terrible influence in my life, I started to listen to the lyrics, and the lyrics make the song even better because like
Yeah,
the whole
lyrics are
song.
pretty good on this one.
Yeah, because the song is about let it slide. It's like, look, I can only take so much, but
Mm-hmm.
tonight I'm just gonna let it slide. I ain't gonna let you bother me. You piss me off right now, but I'm just gonna let it slide. And
It's a
like,
very
it's
good message.
very good message, very good message. Super chill, and that not chill, but like super groovy. So like, I'm definitely,
You know, now that you say it, I do think the lyrics definitely have. That's part of the influence of what made me say it's chill because the
hmm
song like theme is just a chill theme of like you said like
hmm
I'm not gonna let it bother me. I'm having a good day. I'm just gonna let it slide. Like that
hmm
just that mentality is like that's a chill mentality if a person had that all the time, right? Like
Exactly. I mean, because sometimes you really want to choke somebody out, metaphorically speaking, but you can't act on those actions. You gotta just gotta let it slide. You know what I mean? So just like how you were saying, "Ratatatatata" out of nowhere, me, I was saying, "I'm gonna let it slide," and my coworker would be like, "She's like, you all right?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I can only take so much." I'm like, she's like,
out of
huh?
context.
Out of context. She's like, what? I was like, nothing, nothing. We're good. We're good. I'm gonna let it slide.
I just picture your employee or your coworker just like following you around, just like around the corner, keeping an eye on you the rest of the day. Like, is he all right?
I can only take so much.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. Let's see. Now, your next one, because I am me and I have my moments, I kind of look at something and don't really look at it. So I looked at it. I was like, why did Brandon recommend a song called Pizza Ass? And apparently it's not Pizza Ass, it's Pizzazz by Akintoye. I was like, what kind of song is called Pizza Ass? But no, it's called
Mm.
Pizzazz. This track is good. I like this one. So it kind of has a little bit of that vibe from Let It Slide. It's just like, look, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna follow my ass. I'm gonna do it with pizzazz. So,
Yeah.
I was like,
This is
okay, I like that
yeah, this
one.
is
That
definitely
vibe.
another song that definitely has a similar message where like, the chorus hook or whatever is like, if I'm gonna be sad, I'm gonna do it with pizzazz. So it's like, even if I'm feeling not my greatest, it's not worth it to like just wallow in your depression and So, whatever you're going through emotionally, whatever, like
Yeah.
go out, go big or go home, try and make something of it, channel the energies you're feeling into being productive and creative and whatnot. So this artist in particular, Akintoye, I'm not 100% sure on how to pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually found him through TikTok. I think that's where he got
Word.
his start. He would just make random videos where he would like be rapping over stuff, and like a lot of his videos were like he would have like a topic, right? So like he has one humorous one where he raps. I think I might have sent this one to you a long time ago. This is like before I even knew he was like actually trying to make music too. I was like, oh, this is just a funny guy rapping. But
Mm-hmm.
he has like a quick or short video where he's like rapping about how men like don't wash their butts.
Ugh.
And he's like, it's basically his whole song is like wash your ass essentially or whatever. And it's just like it's like funny or whatever. And then so yeah, like I had seen like several clips of him through that, and
Mm-hmm.
then just randomly, I think it was on Reddit or somewhere, I came across him. I was like, oh yeah, this guy. Like someone had linked one of his recent TikTok videos, and someone else under that was like, oh yeah, he just dropped an album, and I'm like, what? And so I went and looked, and I
Mm-hmm.
think Pizzazz. I don't remember if Pizzazz is from the album because he's actually been coming out. I think he's got a couple albums now.
Okay.
I think this one might be a single that came out somewhat like in the last year or so, but
Okay.
yeah, just pretty cool to see someone who like start up kind of that small underground, like just on TikTok, rapping about funny stuff here and there, to actually like kind of blow up from that, be able to make a whole album. Like I know he has one album and then like some singles and stuff, at least if not more than that. It's been a while since I've actually like checked
Mm-hmm.
his discography or whatever. But yeah, man, he's got some. A lot of his music is kind of the same kind of vibe. I feel like thematically speaking, where it's just like pretty upbeat, like stay positive type stuff.
Yeah.
He's got some good skills, like when it comes to I feel like his wordplay and his flow and stuff.
Oh
For to
yeah.
be like kind of an up and coming rapper or whatever.
Absolutely. And then like the last half of the song, like definitely made me kind of respect the song. Cause at first I listened to it, I was like, okay, it's all right, it's a little basic. But then like towards the end, like he really goes hard, and then like the beat kind of switches up and smooths out a little bit. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay, all right, I see you, I see you. And then and then after I kept listening to the song a couple more times, I was like, okay, I'm definitely feeling the message behind the song. Again, it's just one of those songs that like you. It's an upbeat song. It's not slow. It's kind of like an upbeat kind of groove song, and it's one of those kind of songs that you will put on to get yourself out of a funk. Because like
Yeah,
sometimes like we all had those moments where we're thinking too hard or got too much going on, and you just kind of put that song on and just like what.
it helps you just shake it all loose a little bit. Like
Exactly. Like shake it off. Don't let whatever you got going on hold you down too long. Just, hey, if things aren't going the way you want to do it the best way you can with the style that you can do it, and just, put some pizzazz on it and keep on moving.
right,
Just
like I
don't put no
said,
piece of ass on it. Just put,
no, no, no,
some
no, 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 because who wants that? Um, so all right, well, going to I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the last single
uh-huh.
song that we'll
Mhm.
be discussing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so after this, we'll be moving on the full album picks that we picked. But before that, you have VagueEightySix
Mm-hmm.
is the artist, and his song Solo Wave.
Yes. What do you think of this
Now,
one?
this song is definitely, like you said, for Let It Slide. This song is chill. like,
So chill.
like, I don't know how else to say that besides this song is chill. And this is definitely so. Lyrically speaking, right? This I was the first time I was listening to it, because it's just again a super chill song. I was just like, okay, I'm just in there vibing to it, and like he, throughout the like first part, like half of the song or whatever, he has the recurring line where it's like, I'm not perfect, but what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like sitting here thinking like, okay, so this is just a song like this is like a self love, and it still definitely is that. But at first I was like, this is just like a self love song, like you don't gotta be perfect, just like go out and do great things, blah blah blah. But then there's a line, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't like actually look at the lyrics, but just listening to it. There's a
Mm-hmm.
line like I think maybe like a little past 2 minutes in where he said, I'm not perfect, what the hell? I'm not perfect, but what the hell? And then it's like we weren't perfect, but what the hell, or something, or we were perfect, I think it is, but what the hell?
I don't think it was that, but
Did I mishear it?
maybe because I think I looked up the lyrics a while back while listening to it. Let me see. Now I'm
Because
curious.
normally I'll pull up the lyrics on YouTube Music, and this one didn't have it as it was playing, so I was like, I'll just listen to it. I
Yeah,
didn't I didn't go through the effort of like looking up the Genius lyrics or anything.
yeah. It was okay. Let's see here. Let me find the lyrics for it because now I'm confused. No, he doesn't mention anything. No, no, you ain't perfect, but what the hell? Yeah. So no. So there was no we. So it's definitely a song about himself.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
whole point I was building to is not accurate. Because I
Yeah.
was so I thought I heard we, and I was like, for me, that like flipped the whole thing on the head to being like about something completely different. Like still about like self love and everything, but
Uh-huh.
from the perspective of like
A
I don't know, like a
breakup.
post breakup or something, right?
Mm-mm.
But I guess I just misheard that.
Yeah. 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 This one is just yeah. So
Because
no.
I was thinking it was. I need to. I just need to go back and listen to it a little bit more closely. But I noticed he only like whenever I was hearing it, it's only like one line in like the
Mm-hmm.
middle that I was hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very simplistic song lyrically.
But either way, okay. Regardless of the point, I was building towards. It is still a great like again, self care. Like just the message of I ain't perfect, but what the hell is like. Yeah, man. Like no one's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Don't beat yourself up over it. Like go about your days. Do what you can. You know.
I mean, to me, like this song was just one of those songs that you put on when you're just, you know what? I got the day off. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in good spirits, but I just need some me time. And basically, what the song is about is just me time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you got a moment to inhale, exhale, breathe away your anxieties, and just, just like what, I'm chill. So the whole song was like, because I misheard it and I had to look at the lyrics the first time. I was like, oh, that's why it's called Solo Wave. So it's just like Solo Wave, I'm
Oh,
zoning.
now that you say that,
I'm Solo
duh, that
Wave,
makes
I'm
so much
zoning.
sense.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's the whole point of the song. I was like, look, I'm chilling, I'm good with myself, I'm chill. Like all my issues, all my problems seem to be the theme for the last three songs we picked randomly, but it's all about self love and mental health, and it was just like, you know what, I'm good. Like I don't need all that extra stuff. I'm good.
Which, okay, just you just for the audience, a little peek behind the scenes. We didn't like collaborate on like our song picks. We both picked independently and then like shared them with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pure coincidence that thematically we were kind of on the same wavelength for a lot of our picks.
Yeah,
Um,
which is crazy.
Again, I think it just goes to show, musically speaking, we're
We're
same
bros.
vibes generally. Yeah.
Yep, same vibes. So okay, cool. All right. Well, speaking of solo waving and whatnot, we're gonna wave y'all away for a moment. We'll take a quick break and come back and discuss some of the albums that we picked. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. And this time around, we're going to discuss some albums that we're going to recommend. We recommend that you listen to the whole album. However, we may just highlight a few songs from that album, but give the whole album a listen. And we're going to talk about our feelings and our thoughts on it. All right, and let's go into your Brandon's first pick, and we got to go into our boy Logic. We got to talk about College Park.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start by just saying I picked this album largely because I wanted an excuse to listen to it a few more times. So, yeah, sometime recently it came out, but it was in the middle of us like we were trying to we're getting ready to record another episode. So I had like a bunch of other songs I was diligently listening to. Set time aside like one evening and I listened through the album just like once kind of quickly, and I'll admit I was like doing other stuff while I was listening to it. I wasn't like super paying attention to it.
Uh-huh.
It's got a lot of like skits. I just not really. It's
Well,
not skits in like the
it's
typical sense you would think.
interludes.
Interludes, yeah, where
Yeah.
it's like Logic is talking with like his friends and stuff, and like the I guess through line story of these like interludes is Logic going to like one of his first. I don't know if it's supposed to be like his first show or just like one of his first big shows or whatever, but it's him going to like his first show and like his journey to the set for like the first show, right? So like starts with the dream sequence of him, which I think my favorite song is literally the very first one with RZA on it, right?
100%. Well, no, that's my second favorite song.
That's your second favorite.
My second
There's
favorite.
there's a couple other really good ones, but I think for me that's my favorite.
Uh-huh.
And it starts with like at the end of the song, his buddy is like waking him up like, Logic, yo, quit dreaming, man. You got to get up. You got a show at 4:00 or whatever. You got a show tonight. It's 4:00. It's a great start, I felt, to the album. I will say, as a whole, I've got some mixed feelings as a whole on the album. I got to be honest.
Same.
As much as I know we've talked about this just a little bit briefly on previous episodes, I think like on the very first episode, like whenever Logic first like came on the scene, like his first, well, not first came on the scene, whenever he first had his like record produced album, I think it was whenever You and Me found him. you and me like immediately fell in love with that first album, and this like his flow, the way he like
Under
crafted
Pressure.
his stories. Yeah, Under Pressure. Thank you.
Hmm.
Um, it's just everything about that album was like it's still one of my favorite albums of all time. Still one of like pretty
Hmm.
much every song on that album I can listen to like ad
Hmm.
nauseum without getting tired of it.
Yeah,
So been a pretty big Logic fan for a while now, and I hate to say it, but his last couple album releases have like they've been kind of hit or miss for me.
I agree. This album in particular is definitely more miss than hit on this one,
Yeah.
and like even though I can appreciate the theme behind it, so basically this album you have to listen to it start to finish because there's a
Mm-hmm.
whole story being told in between it. So his first three albums that he released, Under Pressure and Through Everybody, there was like a whole space travel thing going along with this one. This album is kind of like a prequel to that, but also kind of like a flashback, so to speak. It's kind of weird how to kind of try to tie it in, but it's just one of those things where I like the interludes, but there could also be a thing called too much. So like
Yeah, and it's like every song just about has one, and it
exactly.
definitely like again, it's cool because I know you and me have lamented about how nowadays albums are a bunch of singles thrown
Hmm.
together to and then sold as one package instead of a whole one piece of art that's supposed to be the listening experience is crafted from beginning to end. You're supposed to listen track one through track whatever.
Hmm.
So it feels a little weird to be like because he did that on here, but just the
It's
like
too much.
implementation of
It's
it,
it's not
yeah, it
balanced.
is.
It's not balanced at all.
It's
That's the
not
problem.
balanced, and it's
It's too much.
coupled with the fact that like I can respect it because I think he raps about it a little bit on some of the songs where like he's trying to like break away and do more than just be a rapper. Like he's kind of sings on some of the tracks and he's like talking about how like he doesn't want to just be a rapper. He wants to do other creative endeavors, maybe TV shows or like I said, singing and doing more like vocalized type stuff instead of just rapping. And I can
Hmm.
like respect that, like trying to branch out, but
Hmm.
just I don't know, it didn't quite work. I guess all the
Okay.
time.
So I'm gonna say something that's not quite controversial, but maybe controversial, so to speak. Logic is a talented rapper. Don't get me wrong, and we know he gets a lot of heat because he raps about being biracial and struggling with mental health and all that kind of good stuff. I'm worried that Logic as a rapper, as an MC, dude is very talented. He is kind of he's skipping. He's currently in his Drake phase where he's kind of whining and bitching about his success, and I think he's about to surpass that and go into the Will Smith category, to where he's going to be ultimately disrespected as a rapper as well. And I worry about that for him because he got the bars, he can flow, but people kind of think he's soft and he's like a little whiny kid. And I'm just like, this dude was a grown man making billions, came from nothing, was homeless, had, drug abuse, and drugs and stuff, and witnessing murders, and also had a rough life. That technically, quote unquote, qualifies him, and I'm using quotation marks, um, uh, qualifies him as a stereotypical rapper, so to speak. So I don't want to discredit him for that, but it's just the material that he's releasing. He's kind of going into that kind of lame category of MC, aka the Will Smith category, and I don't want that for Logic because I'm a fan of his work. But this album in particular, because I appreciate that he went back and got his homeboys, that the people that started with him and got them on there. And again, my personal take, some of his homies that he featured on this album, some of them had better flows than he did on some of the songs, and I'm just like. Ooh, Logic, you kind of phoning it in,
So
man. It's creative,
okay,
but it's kind of killing me a little bit.
I gotta say again, I really can't stress this enough. Like just how big of a fan of Logic that I am,
Hmm.
right? But it pains me to say this, but if I'm being objective and looking at it, ever since he like unretired,
Hmm.
essentially, he's not really been able to hit the same level of like the craft. I feel like,
I agree with that.
and of course, you and me, I think, talked about it at length whenever like he was first retiring. We're like, oh man, it's gonna be like the last Logic album. Like, we were speculating like, oh, rappers never stay retired. Surely he'll come back.
Hmm.
whenever he like retired before he decided to come back, like that was really a great swan song moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like at that point in time, if you had looked at his career up to that point, like that was really a great like capstone album and like capstone moment for him to
Mm-hmm.
like retire and like drive off into the sunset.
Yep.
And again, I get it. If you're a musician and like you've been doing this for 15, 20 years or however long he's been doing it, and like it's obviously you're going to be passionate about it, you're probably going to end up making more music down the line. Like it's hard to just step away from that, especially if that's like your main mode of making money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, just I'm not, I can't really like pinpoint anything in particular like why it is, but I feel like since he's like come out of retirement, he's not been able to like capture that same feeling, the same energy. And I don't know if maybe it's because he's trying to do so many different things and he's like kind of stretching himself thin, or if he just doesn't have like a good focus on like thematically what he's trying to do. I'm not too sure what it is. That's all
Yeah. I mean,
speculation in the dark. But
yeah,
I don't know. For me personally, he's not been able to capture that same,
that same
and I hate
vibe.
it because again, I'm a huge fan. I want to see him succeed. I want to be able to like bop to
Yeah.
new Logic songs, man. Like,
Yeah, and like I mean, and I'm a big fan of the boom bap sound, for sure. But I will say this: um, there are two songs on this album that you have to absolutely listen to. The first one you brought up, "Cruising Through the Universe" with RZA, perfect start to the album, and it kind of keeps that whole space travel thing that he had going on with the other albums. That's why this album starts through the whole "Cruising
and
Through the
RZA
Universe."
kills it,
RZA
of
murder.
course.
I mean, no doubt. The next song I'm gonna recommend that you have to listen. It is a required listen. Stop the podcast right now. Go listen to it and then come back. Self Medication. This dude got Redman and Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy on the same track, and he ain't doing no Brian, no Peter Griffin. Seth MacFarlane is singing, and I
Yeah,
completely forgot that he's an actual trained like singer, classically trained singer.
yeah.
So Redman, Seth MacFarlane, Logic on the same track, and it's the hands down best song like the whole album, one
It
hundred
is.
percent.
I will say, yeah. I think
It is.
I don't know. I still think the RZA one's my favorite, but that one, man, that's a close second for me.
It's just a perfect blend. Like Redman is a legendary MC. If you don't know who Redman is, don't talk to me. But Redman is classic, and he came in and just killed it lyrically, and just basically showed people that like, yeah, I'm still in the game. I still got bars. I mean, Redman, a couple years ago, was it a year ago or maybe 2 years ago? Time is kind of escaping me, but he dropped a song called 48, 40 bars or something like that. He's just no chorus, just like rap the whole verse of the whole song, like 5 minutes straight, just straight rapping.
I've
And I'm
not
just
heard
like,
that. I'll have to check that out once we get done with
bro,
this.
yes, I'm gonna send you a link to that. And you're gonna be like, why have you not sent this to me? But like, but yeah. So just the fact being that like he, brought out Redman and got a feature, and then have Seth MacFarlane close out the song. I'm just like, I was not expecting that. Again, like I said, I'm an avid fan of mixing things that don't belong together into some kind of music gumbo. This is perfect. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
But outside of that, again, respect the logic for the creativity, but balance it out. If I want to watch a movie, I watch a movie, or if I want to listen to a movie, I listen to a movie. But this, you had too much going on with this. Like, I want to hear the music, and then even when I want to re-listen to it, I find myself skipping because I'm like, I'm trying to get to the music, not the interludes. I can care less about the interludes.
same.
So
Like I said, like right before we got on to record this episode, you and me were both kind of just trying to blaze through the playlist we had one more time.
mm-hmm.
I ended up skipping literally the last half. I think I got to that song, Self Medication,
Mm-hmm.
or I maybe didn't even make it there, honestly.
Jeez,
Um,
that's sad.
Before I like skipped the rest of it, which I also, I mean, I had listened to it like 5, 6 times all the way through at this point. So like,
Yeah.
I don't feel that bad about it, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to like skip the last half of that album to go back and re-listen again to all the singles we had picked instead. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, one last thing about the Logic album that I will say before we move on. The song you had with Nora Jones, I'm like, what Paradise
Paradise
2.
2.
Yeah. So it's an okay song.
No, yeah, that one was decent.
It's decent,
I
but
thought.
me personally, again, I'll openly admit that I'm not a big Nora Jones listener or fan of herself. But the way she sung on that song, she 100% reminded me of Erica Badu. He should have just got Erica Badu and just put her on the song because like Nora Jones is pretty much just like ripped Erica Badu's
Just
whole
copying
style,
her.
copied her whole
Yeah, I
style,
could.
the whole
I kind
song.
of agree. I see why you say that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So that song I found offensive, but outside of that, the album was okay.
I want to talk about Gorillaz.
Okay, let's go.
So, Cracker Island. dropped February earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one. It came out right around that same time that like the Logic album dropped, and we were both like, "Oh, we need to listen to these, but we got to find time to like really sit down and listen to them." And we were
Absolutely.
like, kind of struggling because we had a whole bunch of like podcast playlists that we were trying to listen to and be diligent with that. But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, kind of I think similar to the correct me if I'm wrong, but I think similar to the Logic, you picked this one at least partially as an excuse to listen to it
One hundred
a few
percent.
more times.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will say, unlike Logic's album, this one I never felt the need to skip any of the songs or anything. I never.
Really? Okay.
Now I will say your other album choice out of the two albums you picked was, I think, maybe not by far, but it's a good head and shoulders above this one for me.
Okay.
But not to say I don't like this one. Gorillaz, it's nearly impossible for me to like not, at the very least, like even if it's a Gorillaz songs that I'm like not vibing with at all, I still respect it
Mm-hmm.
just for what like the talent they have, the production they always bring, just the weird like they have a song completely in Spanish on this album that just like
Yeah.
out of nowhere, I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
don't even know what they're saying, but I'm here for it.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like K-pop all over again.
I was wondering if you knew Cracker Island. Is that like a cracker like white people island thing? Like what is this? What is Cracker Island, man? It's also the name of the first song on the album featuring Thundercat. It's honestly one of my favorite songs on the album. But yeah. Oh, one thing I meant to point this out just real quick. I guess in relation or like comparing this to the Logic album, the Logic album has like, oh, let me go back and check. It has like 22 or like 20 songs or something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on one second. Let me just see here. Or 17, sorry, not quite 20. It's got 17 songs. This one has what, 10, 11?
Yeah, it's like only like thinking like 10 songs.
10, yeah. And so, I think the fact that it is a shorter like set list, I guess, album list, whatever you want to call it, does kind of lend itself to that like replayability, and you don't kind of get tired of it. Like I think you and me kind of did by like song 12 or 13 of the Logic album. We're like, all right, dude, especially with all the interludes. You don't really get that with this, and also again, like each sound is very like it's unique in its place. And don't have a lot of sounds that or songs that like sound too much alike or anything. Keep you on your toes again. Like if you're just listening through this album, like song 1, song 2, song 3, and you're just like vibing along to it, and all of a sudden Spanish starts blasting in your ear unexpectedly, that's gonna make you stop and turn your head and like I did, be like, is this still Gorillaz? Like, let me open my phone, make sure it didn't like switch to some other group or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's Gorillaz. Yeah, and they got some great. Like my favorite song is, of course, you could probably imagine, New Gold, featuring Tame Impala.
100%.
Kevin Parker is the GOAT. He's a living legend.
Yeah. And what's his name too? Dude from
Booty. Hold on.
What's his name? Bobby something, I think.
Booty Brown.
Booty Brown.
Booty Brown. So yeah, they do good on that track. Tame Impala or Kevin Parker comes on and does the vocals for that. And I don't care what you say. His voice is just hypnotic on everything he does. Whatever he does to make his voice sound like that like style of singing he does is just like, I'm here for it all day, every day on anything he touches pretty much. They also have like the second song on the album, Oil, featuring Stevie Nicks.
Yes.
Like they got some cool people on here, man.
I mean, they got Beck on here out of nowhere. Like
they got Beck on the very last song. Like, yeah, like they don't have like a lot of featured, but the featured artists they got are like top notch featured artists.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things you're like, okay, I want to check this song out just because of the featured. It's like one of those type of deals, right?
Absolutely.
And then of course Gorillaz is like, at this point they've been around for 2 decades or more, and they're living legends. They're in their own right, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, this album was pretty great, I gotta say.
Yeah, this album to me was a slow burner. When I first listened to it, I was less than impressed at first.
Really?
Mainly because I like the Demon Days era. I like the Plastic Beach sound, and I guess I set the bar way too high. So I was kind of expecting like, I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting this. That being said, when I listened to it again and actually had like good quality headphones on and actually listened to it. Because when I first listened to it, the one sober, I was like multitasking. It wasn't really like ingesting the music like I normally do. And this time I re-listened to it again a couple times. I was like, okay, I'm feeling the vibe. there's more album, even though it's only 10 songs. To me, I feel like there's a couple of songs that are just album fillers and not really like the classic Gorilla sound. To me,
Yeah, there's definitely a couple in there for sure.
yeah, but there are a few standouts, like you said. Cracker Island with Thundercat was amazing. New Gold is amazing. One of my favorite, I like the Tired Influencer. That's pretty dope.
That one was pretty good. Yeah,
I
that was another one of my tops from the album.
yeah.
Now, I will say it's interesting you say like because you were kind of a big fan of like the kind of older Gorilla style. I'm kind
Hmm.
of coming from it the opposite.
Interesting.
Like it's not that I'm like I don't want to say opposites and like I hated
Hmm.
old Gorilla
Yeah,
because I didn't, but I was never the biggest fan. Like again, it was more of like kind of like I said at the beginning talking about him. Like it was always more of like I can respect what you're doing, but I probably won't listen to this song more than like a couple times.
hmm
Um, Part of that was like whenever they like first got known to me was whenever they had like Clint Eastwood and
yeah. With De
like
La
that
Soul
era
and
of
all of that.
Gorillaz, right? And
Yeah,
like some of those songs just got like so overplayed that I got like kind of sick of Gorillaz for a few years.
true.
And like even whenever I went back and like listened to the album, I think I still kind of brought that bias with me whenever I was listening to it.
Hmm.
So like for a long time, like again, I it's not that I like didn't like Gorillaz, but they were just like they weren't like high up. I wasn't like a huge mega fan. Like I could listen to them and like enjoy them, but I wasn't like necessarily seeking them out and like just playing. Like I wouldn't like listen to their whole album and like just jam to it myself necessarily.
Well, call it back to the term we used earlier, groove. So this album to me is more of a groove album. It's not like when you put on Clint Eastwood and you put on Dare, like those kind of songs. Like you kind of like, okay, let's go. This album, you kind of put it on. You got to be like kind of in the right mindset for this album to kind of just.
And
It's
I
very
think
chill.
I agree with that, and I think that's maybe why I kind of maybe I was just in the right mindset going into this or something. But I
Hmm.
definitely like I don't know. I connected with this album more so than any of the like previous Gorilla albums I tried to listen to. I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. Like this is more of a homogenous sound, whereas the previous albums they kind of were kind of all over the place. A little bit of abstract, a little bit of EDM dance style, a little bit of this, whatever sound they wanted for that era. But for this one, outside for the Bad Bunny song, um, it pretty much all kind of had the same vibe. And even with the Bad Bunny song, again, I had the same situation with you. I was listening to it and I just started hearing a random Spanish song, and I was like, is the album over? Like I'm only like a couple songs in, so I had the same reaction. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Bad Bunny's on here, and I'll only listen to Bad Bunny this song and then the song he did with Cardi B. So I'm not like the biggest Bad
I
Bunny
know
fan.
of Bad Bunny, but I've like no. I probably listened to him here and there like accidentally, but I've never like searched him out. I don't think or anything. So
Exactly, that might
even
be.
seeing that name, I didn't like connect in my head that that's what the song was gonna be like. But
Yeah, yeah, and actually, I saw him in that one movie with Brad Pitt. That was kind of dope. But yeah, outside of that, I just didn't. I was like, okay, whatever, cool. Skinny Ape is one of those songs. It's kind of okay. You got to be in the right mood for it. But I do like the song with Beck.
Possession Island, that
Yeah,
one was pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I would say Cracker Island, New Gold, The Tired Influencer, and that one, Possession Island, were like my four favorite. Those are the ones that I feel like I could just on loop almost.
Yeah,
And there's a couple others that like are close to that, but
yeah. Baby Queen's all right, but it's all
yeah.
good. Okay, so let's move on to your album recommendation, and we have to, got to pay a shout out to the homie Childish Gambino. Came out of nowhere with
Yee
the,
yee.
the the soundtrack for Swarm, his new show featuring his new artist Naja. It's a small EP, only like what 6 songs or whatever.
I think so, 6 or 7.
Yeah, so I listened to this one, and I don't have
Yeah,
any.
6.
Yeah, I don't have any context for who Naja is and what the show is supposed to be about. Like, I hate to say it, but like, if I'm interested in something, I go radio dark because a lot of times the trailers just like ruin the whole everything. So I like to kind of go in blind
Mm-hmm.
if I'm interested in it. So I don't know much about who Naja is, who she's supposed to be, or what's happening, or who this person Kirby that's featured on a lot of the songs. I don't know who that person is either. So I'm
I wanted to
as
look him up because he is like on I think let's see 4
is that a he or a she or they?
or
I don't
she
know.
or they I don't know. They're on let's see 1 2 3 4 5.
Five.
They're on 5 of the 6 songs.
Yeah. Yeah. So all I know is that the song Agatha goes hard. Naja just
That
straight.
one goes hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she straight snapped on that one.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, Big World is dope. Like it kind of goes back to that boom bap kind of sound. So I
Mm-hmm,
was a little
mm-hmm.
confused by that. But I was like, okay, where are we at?
Definitely throws you for a loop coming like right off of Agatha
Yeah.
into that. It's definitely like a okay.
Okay.
But I will say that because I'm pretty sure Donald Glover like produced or helped like produce this, right? Like,
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
so that I just want to say, like, he only features on the very last song, "Sticky,"
Hmm.
like lyrically or whatever, but his like thumbprint, fingerprints,
It's all over
literally
us.
top to bottom. It's like you if you listen to any of his other stuff and you like know how he does production, like it, yeah,
Hmm.
you can. It's just so clearly like his sound, and like you, it's not just his sound. It's like it's it's new,
Yeah.
but it's still him,
It's
which is like as a huge Donald Glover fan,
it's
love to see
new,
it.
and I respect it so much. Like the song that he is actually credited as, Childish Gambino and Kirby. I have some. Okay, again, I haven't seen the show. I don't know anything about
And
the
I have none
person's.
either, just for
I
context. Yeah,
feel like either Kirby is either him as another alias, or it might be somebody else. Because I'm just trying to figure out who this person is. Because I don't like. I know Niger can rap, but I don't know if she also can sing or not. And I feel like I heard Childish Gambino's background vocals on a couple other songs that he's not credited on. So I'm not 100% sure. And I didn't go into a
deep
internet
dive on it.
deep dive on it or anything like that.
I didn't either. Yeah,
But I will call out Sticky Icky, because the song was like that was the first song. It was like, oh, Childish Gambino's back, and he's just singing in the chorus. That's it, pretty much. But I will say the fact being that they used a banjo in that song and turned it into that crazy mess, like production wise, I was like, this fool got a banjo. And then made a song called Sticky Icky. Oi, oi. I was like, you know
yeah,
what? I'm
dude.
done.
Like,
I'm so done.
it's just they're unique, man. It's what
Yeah.
is like the word I can't think of anything else to describe this the type of sound he crafts, right? It's
Hmm.
like it's just a unique sound.
Yes.
Like, I don't it's hard to find something like this anywhere else.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So I'm definitely interested in the show. I'm not an avid
Yeah.
TV watcher, so I will try to get to it eventually. But as far as the
I was in
soundtrack,
the past. I've been bad at catching up on TV shows of late, so it's on my list. But yeah, the soundtrack, like I think you were about to say, definitely has me interested in
hmm,
checking it out.
absolutely,
All right, so that was what was the name of that? I guess I don't know if that does it have a name for that EP?
just Swarm.
Oh, Swarm, just Swarm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, well, I think that was my last album pick. Going into, I believe, the very last thing we're going to be discussing today.
Uh huh.
And this was, again, like I said before I introduced the Gorillaz album, this was, I think, my favorite between the two.
Hmm.
Um, the band Ghost, the
Hmm.
Swedish rock band Ghost, and
Yes.
their 2022 album, Impera,
Yes.
Impera, however you, I don't know quite how to pronounce that. The whole album is about the rise and fall of different empires.
Hmm.
Um, Something about like Scandinavian countries and like hard rock metal,
Hmm.
but man, they do it so well over there.
Yes.
um, Again, I think just because what really kind of drew me to this album or so than Gorillaz is I was thinking about this and like trying to wonder like why is it that I was like so I felt connected to this album, right? I think because partially due to the podcast, partially just because of what like YouTube recommends me or has been recommending me for the last little bit. I've not really listened to a whole lot of just like heavy rock in
Hmm.
like a minute, like a long minute.
Hmm.
It's gonna been a good while. So like I don't know, this is like getting back to like because I definitely like I said before, I grew up. My dad's been a guitarist. He's been in different bands like my whole life. I grew up going to live shows.
It was a homecoming
Um,
experience for you, huh?
yeah, a little bit. And like there's okay, so something funny that happened was so whenever I would go with my dad to live shows, right? And like him or the other guitarists in the band would have a solo, something we would do is we would like if I was like right at the front of like the crowd or whatever, is I would start we would because he wanted us to like do it and like hopefully get other people to do it. But whenever someone would just be like shredding this, doing a solo, we would like get up there and do like this,
Hmm.
like to the guitarist. It's like, oh yeah, shred it or whatever.
Hmm.
And oftentimes I would do that, and like other people would come up and start doing that. And we're like, if you see it in a video, it's just like a group of people just like surrounding the guitarist doing this. It's kind of weird, but. I tell you that to say, I literally there's a couple solos where I just like it popped in my head where like I wanted to go and start doing this to them because they were just killing it on the solo.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, man, this song,
This,
I don't even know if I could pick like a favorite song or even a favorite two songs from this. There's so many songs that went hard.
so
Um,
this album to me did what Logic attempted to do without as many interludes and skits. This album flows from top to bottom, and if you listen to the album on repeat, the last song leads into the intro.
Does it really?
It
I
really,
didn't notice that because whenever I listened to it, it would just be in the playlist, so it would just go to the next album or whatever.
yeah.
But
If you listen to the last song and then add the first song to to follow up after that, it leads right into it. So when I first listened to it, I was like, where have I heard this before? Like I feel like I was having like a deja vu moment, and I was like, let me put this on repeat, and then I put it on repeat, the album on repeat, and then it bled right into the first song again. I was like, okay, I see what you did there. So yeah, so to me, I'm new to Ghost. I've never really heard of the
I'd
band.
never heard of them before. Now
Yeah,
this is my introduction to them.
yeah. So I checked them out. I was listening to on Sirius XM, and they had the song "Call Me Sunshine," and I love that. That was the first song I ever heard by them, at least knowingly.
That's one of my. If I had to pick, that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. There's that one, 20s,
20s is dope. I love 20s.
Darkness at the Heart of My Love.
Yeah,
Spillways is great. Like,
Spillways is my least favorite.
really?
Yes.
I like that one lyrically. It's more so than musically. I will
Okay.
say the lyrics on that one kind of connect
Yeah.
with me. Kaiserion, just because
Yes.
Kaiserion, like
So
man,
good.
like this. I don't even know what that word means. I'm sure it's some kind of like some kind of emperor title or something related to that. I'm sure, but
Yeah.
just the way, just anytime you get something like that, and it's just the topic of like the rise and fall of empires is like if you're gonna tackle that musically,
Mhm.
heavy metal is like the best choice for that, in
So
my opinion.
100%, I totally agree with that. And to me, what really drew me, English. Let me try that again. What really drew me to them, like I said, I heard the song "Call Me Sunshine," and when I'm listening to the song, I was like, you know what? This is a new song, but it reminds me of like the hair metal bands from back in the day, but like a modern twist on it. And I was like, okay, because I like rock, but also like rock that has melody to where I can sing with it, and it's not a whole bunch of
Hmm.
screaming and like all this. I mean, there's a time and a place for the screamo, all the stuff. We're gonna
Yeah,
dive
yeah, I
into
can
all of
definitely
that.
vibe to that, but I got to be in that mood for sure. Yeah.
Exactly, but this is like an album you can like put on almost at any time and just it's like a good balance between the vocals and then the instrumentation and then like just the music structure of the songs. I fell in love with it. So and then the theme behind it, I kind of again I just heard them first. Then I looked them up and I was like, oh, that's what they look like. Okay, can't bring this around some people because they might be offended, but but like it's pretty dope. And I did like a little mini deep dive on them, and I think and listeners, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the what I read about the band is they've been around for a long time, but each band member gets to kind of lead the next project. So like they got
Oh,
multiple,
that's really dope.
yeah, they got multiple vocalists, and they're like, okay, so this album, you're in charge of this album. You come up with this concept, then they'll pass it on to another band member. They'll lead that album, and then kind of everybody has a chance, has a share in the creative process. So I thought that was pretty dope.
That
Um,
is really dope. I don't think you see that a lot in like bands or groups.
no,
Usually it's like one or two people are kind of the main like shareholder, do the main like share of the writing and
exactly.
coming up with like the theme and stuff, and everyone else is just playing their instrument.
Exactly.
That's really cool though.
Yeah.
I'm sure that keeps. I mean, again, this is my first introduction to them.
Hmm.
I kind of plan to go back and listen to some of their because they actually have I think a newer album or a newer EP that came out just kind of recently.
Okay. I
Because
must.
this album came out in like
That was.
March of 2022.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I
So
haven't.
yeah, I definitely want to go back and look at some of their other albums and see like what kind of with other band members kind of helming it. What does it sound like?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So this vibe. One of the call out songs I definitely want to mention from my perspective. Watcher in the Sky. I love.
Oh, Watcher in the Sky. Okay, that might be my favorite.
Yes.
Now that you say
That
it,
guitar
that might be my
solo.
favorite.
That guitar solo at the
That
end.
guitar solo was the one I was talking about.
Yes,
I'm like in my car and I'm like,
bro.
I gotta go like find this guy and like give him props, man. This is amazing.
Dude, just like you with your with your shredded fingers, I was doing the same thing, but I didn't know what to call it. I just heard when that part come on, I was like,
Yeah, dude,
I was
exactly,
like
man.
killing it. And I like how this album so it's kind of broken up into parts. Like there's like little mini interludes between like a selection of songs or two, and then it kind of thematically kind of changes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So slightly, but Watching the Sky is my favorite. I love Dominion. Like it's just like a nice little orchestra, little break, and then it goes into 20s. I love 20s because it's subtle. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
20s, like you got to catch the lyrics on that one because they're
Mm-hmm.
you don't know if they're talking about the 1920s or the 2020s. But I like how they say in the 20s in the background. I love
And
that.
I'm pretty sure that that had to be 100%. That had to be intentional.
Uh-huh.
Like
Absolutely.
which one are you talking about? Because like, a lot of it could go like either way.
Yeah, exactly.
um,
Especially these days, man.
yeah, sadly to say, for some of that stuff. But yeah, man, that definitely it was a clear standout. 20, like this is my first time listening
Mm-hmm.
through the album. I think after listening through it several times, like I said, Watching the Sky became my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just my very initial listen through the album, 20s was the one that maybe I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's the one that like
It's
stuck out to
yes,
me the
it's a good standout. And then again, going right from that orchestra, like it's all nice and smooth, and it's like do 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 do, and then it starts with that.
There's again,
Just
like you said, the composition on
yes,
these songs is just,
it's phenomenal, phenomenal. I
man,
love it, absolutely
just
love it.
brings me immense amounts of joy.
Yep, yep.
Straight up.
I love it. I love it. It's such a solid album. And again, just bring it back to something we've little bit said about in the past. Albums need to come make a comeback where there's a theme, it flows from beginning to end, and then you can hit repeat, and you get to enjoy that full experience. It's not a whole bunch of singles, even though they're songs that can multiple songs that can be chosen as singles, but it's not just singles for the sake of singles.
No.
There's clearly some thought and stuff put into it, and everything has a flow. And I challenge anybody who listens to that album to start with the last song first, and then start with the intro, and you're going to be like, "Wow, this is what I'm getting into."
Yeah, see, because I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh yeah.
But again, this is just 12 songs, so it's not like an immense like dedication or like commitment of time to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man, it's nice and tight, sticks to the theme,
Absolutely.
composition like A plus 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 plus.
Yes. Just
Of course, all of the like musicians and the singing are all great. Yeah, man, I have like zero complaints about this album. Like, I think some songs I like more than others.
mm-hmm.
Some songs were just like this is pretty good, but like again, just top to bottom, it was a whole vibe. It was great.
Yep. My opinion.
Definitely gonna check out more of them after this.
Absolutely. To me, 11 out of 10.
Yeah, and that this more so than I think anything else you picked for this. I mean, there's definitely several others that fall into this, like as far as like recommending new stuff to me to listen to or not. But this one, I think more than any other, is like one that's like, okay, this is like never heard of this group.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would have never found this group
Mm-hmm.
if you hadn't recommended this to me.
Nice.
So like, yeah, man, that's what it's all about right here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what the whole show's about: listening and reacting. And trust me, without you, I would have never heard a piece of ass. And if you're a fan of piece of ass, follow us on all the social networks. You can check us out on our website, After Listen Pod. Feel free to leave a comment, tell us what you think of the show. Tell us if you have any recommendations. We're all ears. We may not get to it right away, but we're always open to new recommendations. So
yeah, and tell us if you found a new like favorite artist or like any of these recommendations we've made. If you like listen to them through us and fall in love, please let us know. We'd love to hear that like we've helped spread these awesome like albums and music that we're listening to and help connect people through it. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tell us what you think of the picks and if we corrupted your music taste or not. Just let us know.
absolutely. Yeah.
Appreciate it, y'all. Thanks for listening.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.